Hey, South by community. My name is Adam Gamwell. The title of our panel is The Meaning Economy, How Anthropology is Revolutionizing Business. Now, this panel is for you if you're curious about the tools, perspectives, and techniques of anthropology and how they can help businesses thrive in an era of cultural fragmentation and hyperconnectivity. I'm a business and design anthropologist, media producer and podcaster and entrepreneur. And I've worked with organizations such as nonprofits, media, research, marketing, education, and consumer goods. Most recently, I've been working in innovation and insights with MotiveBase, a technology-enabled global research organization that combines big data, natural language processing, and ethnography to study consumer culture and meaning at scale for Fortune 1000 companies. Now, why anthropology and why now? Let me give you the backstory. Working with organizations across industries, one of the biggest myths that we found is that anthropology often gets conflated and confused with user experience. But anthropology is much more than our ethnographic methods. And the truth is, these myths mean businesses are missing out on the deeper value that anthropology can bring. So we're here to challenge that myth by exploring some of the most exciting and impactful ways that anthropology is reshaping business. Now, I'll be the moderator and discussant on this all-anthro panel, and I've rounded up some of the smartest, most creative, and interesting anthropologists from across industries to spread the love for anthropology and to show how anthropology can completely reframe and reorient your business. So, for example, one of the takeaways we're going to explore is that anthropology has this idea of holism, that is understanding behavior in wider context, and this allows businesses to put data in the context of human experience and meaning. I'll give you an example. Now, when we segment people into traditional market research categories like young millennial moms or baby boomers that are planning for retirement, we're artificially removing people from their context. So if we're interested in millennials, for example, doesn't it sound a little strange to lump together a 25-year-old gay Jewish male who lives in New York City and works in software with a 39-year-old mother of two who's living in the Midwest, who's never left her hometown and goes to church every Sunday? Sure, technically they're both millennials, but by creating these artificial splits, we're losing out on how to actually understand what matters to people and how to connect with them. Now I'll turn it over to my colleague, Madhuri.
I am Madhuri Karak, also an anthropologist. I was born in Calcutta, India, trained in Delhi, London, and New York. I have worked in Turkey as a scholar of environmental politics, and most recently led community engagement strategy at RARE, a global nonprofit harnessing behavioral science and design thinking for solving biodiversity conservation, sustainability, and climate challenges. So our second takeaway is that anthropology focuses on people in context, which means that what they do and say in relation to their environment is necessary to understand what makes experiences meaningful. So to get the most out of anthropology, it's important to allow users and consumers to inform and co-create the meaningful experiences that we want to build. Let me give you an example. So in my work, building and growing audiences for behavior-centered design in the environmental field, I kept bumping into this question that is frankly as old as anthropology itself. What is community? Sure, practitioners want tools, they want frameworks, case studies, application-ready insights, but did anyone want yet another networking platform in our world of LinkedIn and Twitter and Clubhouse and Facebook? Turns out, yes, people always want other people, especially as communities of practice, individuals who find common ground and sense of purpose as they experiment with new methods and approach old, persistent problems like climate change with new frameworks and new comrades. So the virtual expands our reach, right? So our behavior change for the environment community has members from 79 countries, but virtual's real power emerges in co-creating meaning. And now I'll let you hear from our colleague, Phil.
I'm Phil. I'm also an anthropologist. My background has spanned user experience and brand strategy, and I currently work as an innovation consultant for a number of different client types across various industries from financial services, automotive, luxury, media, tech, and so on. And our third takeaway is that anthropology is able to help us understand socio-technical systems. We can understand the human side of things as well as the technical side of things, and how they often intersect in sometimes unexpected ways. We saw this particularly when it comes to something like the COVID-19 pandemic, where we saw economic systems and social systems and how those can manifest themselves in societal inequalities, and those have real commercial implications and human implications, such as the issues of essential workers. And we are seeing that businesses are no longer able to look at environmental and social issues as externalities. And this is the basis for ESG, environmental, social, and governance issues, coming into focus as businesses have to take into account issues like systemic racism and a global pandemic and climate change and AI ethics and all these things that anthropologists are attuned to as a result of understanding human behavior, because right now industry needs to become more human than ever.
Oh, so there you have it. The meaning economy, how anthropology is revolutionizing business. We hope we've convinced you to vote for our panel and hope to see you next year in Austin.